Hi, this is Diipa Khosla, and I'm so excited to be talking to you guys. A little bit about me is I am Indian, born and raised in India, and then when I was 17, I moved to the Netherlands to study law here, and that's when my influencer journey began. After which I moved to London and kind of continued growing my journey there, and then moved back to Amsterdam a few years later. And there were not too many influencers out there when I started doing Instagram and stuff, and then I was one of the first few Indian influencers on a global scale. And yeah, it's been quite a journey since. It's been about 6 years now, and so much has changed since when I first started. So I think in the beginning, I still remember my very first deal that I had to do. It was with Paul Hewitt, and it was for about, I think, 100 euros or something. I had to post a photo, and it made me so happy to be able to do that. But things have changed a lot in the course of the last 6 years, and I think so much of that has to do with social media changing and constantly innovating along with it. What it takes to be an influencer. I think nowadays every second person pretty much wants to be an influencer, and it is a lot harder than it looks. To be an influencer, you need to be absolutely consistent. You need to be able to create content even if you really don't feel like it. And in the worst of days and the best of days, you are working all the time. That is one big difference, I think, between being an influencer and just doing a normal job, is that you are constantly on, and that's not for everyone. And sometimes you just really need to take a break or detox and do that as well. So that what it takes to be an influencer is also having a thick skin, so not letting the hate comments or the judgments online get to you, because for sure there will be some. So make sure you don't get affected by them. And lastly, I think being an influencer is really about evolving and innovating yourself constantly, because online world is changing all the time. So if you stick to your ways of doing things the same way for many years, you're not going to be able to keep up with the times. So be original, but do still evolve with the times, is what I would say. So my journey of the last 6 years has been such a roller coaster. The first year I had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of started, made an Instagram account and just started doing things without really knowing what I'm doing. And then over the course of that first year, really learning a lot, digging deep, researching, watching a lot of YouTube videos, reading a lot online to learn about this whole world of the fashion industry, the beauty industry, what PR agencies were, how influencer marketing was changing the game, etc. So a lot of learning the first year. And then it was only, I think, in the second or third year when things started slowly picking up. And at that point, it was really about branding yourself online and creating that strategic brand of who you're going to be, and reaching out and networking. So the second and third year of my journey was a lot more about meeting people and networking with the right people, while slowly finding my niche online and my originality online. And then actually straight after that, the fourth, fifth, and sixth year, the last 3 years have just been absolutely incredible, with a lot of big achievements and a lot of innovation and changing at the same time. And it's been such an amazing journey that I'm so grateful for, and continue to be grateful for every single day. And it also has a lot to do with hard work. The harder you work, I do believe you do receive the gifts of that. So don't forget to work hard, but also work smart. Have a plan, have a strategy, be strategic about your 1-year goals, your 5-year goals, and then try to work towards them. I think that also has been really key in my success. And now the next step of my journey is personally to see what is next. After being an influencer for quite a while, you want to do the next big step within your career, within your journey, and whether that's a big project or whether that's having your own business, you at one point want to take that next step. So I am definitely in that moment there now, and I'm very excited for what's to come. So my favorite designers internationally would be Dior. I've really loved Dior for a very long time, since I was a little kid, because their bags had the D on it, and my name is Diipa, so I always liked that because I was a kid. But as I grew up and I learned about the history and the couture and how feminine and empowering the brand is for females, it really has been a constant for me. And I also really love Jacques Mus. He is this exceptional designer that came onto the scene just a few years ago, and has really taken the fashion world by storm with his amazing designs, and they're all very sexy yet classy, and I really like him. And lastly, I love David Khosla. He is a designer from London, and he's Georgian originally, and his designs are so aesthetically pleasing yet very, for a boss woman, and they look very empowering on the body. So really love those three. And when it comes to Indian designers, I think Sabyasachi, of course. My wedding dress was made by Sabya, and he's a friend, and I truly love everything he creates. It's just Indian heritage and Indian culture and tradition on a global scale, and that makes me very proud of anything he does. Apart from Sabya, I also really love Manish Malhotra and like the glamour he adds to his outfits. And honestly, every time he wears outfits, you feel like you are in a Bollywood movie set. So really like that. And I also actually really like Raw Mango, which is a more cult fashion label, and they have the most serene aesthetics and just beautiful clothing and great quality. So yeah, my style tips to you would be less is more. Never try to overdo it with anything, and of course you can add your flavor and your originality to things, but in general, the less you do, the better you're gonna look. Same with accessorizing. Like, instead of wearing earrings and necklace and ring and bracelet, try to, rather have maybe a statement piece of earrings and then don't do anything else, to keep like the attention to that, or wear a statement piece of clothing and then try to keep everything else more minimalistic, is something that I love. And since the lockdown also, I really love comfort over anything else. So wearing co-ods of sweatpants and a sweatshirt that are just great colors really work well as well. I have a few tips for you budding influencers on how to be a influencer yourself. I've written them down, so I'm going to read it out for you guys. Tip number 1 is just start. Honestly, I think the hardest thing is thinking about it. What should you do? Would I? Should I? Could I? And at the end of the day, just take the leap of faith, take the risk, and just go and just get started. And everything else will figure itself out after that. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, I feel like a lot of people think before they can become an influencer or on Instagram or YouTube, etc., that you need the most expensive equipment and lights and stands and blah, 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 blah. You honestly don't. Even today, you really don't need the best of everything. The majority of my content is shot on my phone, edited on my phone, and I just use natural window light to shoot things. So you don't really need the most intense gadgets and everything. You can get started with what you already have, and then in the process you can buy things when you start earning. So that is something I feel like is misunderstood by a lot of people. Number 3 is, and this is a big one, because especially now there's so many creators out there, is to really try to be unique and find your own niche, or find your own angle, or find your own way of doing things, because your uniqueness is going to make you stand out. If you just do exactly the same thing everyone has done before you, there's no way you're going to stand out, or there's no way that people would find value in following you. So don't just copy someone else. Try to find your own angle and your own niche, and that will definitely define your success. Then is become an expert of your industry. So whether it is that you want to be talking about beauty, or whether it's about skincare, or whether it's about cooking, whatever industry you choose to be an influencer in, become an expert in that industry and know all the big players, know all the magazines, know everything that's going on in that, because that's really going to help you build yourself in that niche and get people to know you, because you're gonna have knowledge about that industry. So that is a big tip that I did, and I learned a lot the first 2 years I was an influencer, and I still keep learning every day, so never stop learning. I would say for the first 2 or 3 years you get started, don't try to do a bit of everything. Be known for one thing. So pick a niche, whatever that niche may be again, but pick it, become an expert on it, focus on that niche, and then later, once you're known and you have a lot more followers, you can go on to doing other things that interest you too. But at least to begin with, start with your niche and really become, you know, well known within that. Then I have empower and make alliances, because you cannot do this by yourself. That I think is in general, in life, in business, in any kind of, you know, social activity in this world, you need to make alliances. So try not to think that you're gonna grow your following just by yourself. It is really gonna help you to have friends. It's really gonna help you to have influencer friends. It's gonna help you to have friends within the PR world, friends within marketing, you know, companies. Really try to make alliances and make friends in the industry, because they're gonna help you with everything that you do, and you're gonna help them back in turn. So yeah. And the next one is quite a simple one, but it's something your parents always told you: be kind to everyone that you meet. You know, no matter how tired you are, how cranky you are, what a bad day you're having, if you meet someone, just try to be kind to them, because you will never know when you might next meet them, or who they might be, or how they might be useful for you in the future. So try to be kind to every person you meet, and you will see that it comes back in life tenfold. Again, even though being an influencer and being a content creator, yes, does pay quite a lot at one point when you have a lot of followers and a very interactive community, don't focus on that to start off with. Focus truly on your content, focus on your niche, focus on how you're going to be original, and the money and all of that will come later. So that would be a very important advice to, you know, notice, is that don't think you're going to get in there for the money. Get in there for the content, get in there for creating something online that's more beautiful and more valuable for people, and the money will automatically follow after that. Have a thick skin against haters and trolls. It's something I already mentioned, but it is, you know, something I don't think a lot of people expect while coming online, even though they've heard of cyberbullying and they hear there's a lot of hateful people, but you don't really know until you start experiencing it yourself. And what I would say is going into it expected, so you know it might happen, and just be thick-skinned about it, because haters and, you know, trolls are just hiding behind a screen, writing mean things to people they have no idea about, while you're actually putting yourself out there. So trust in yourself, be confident in yourself, and don't let haters get you down. Now lastly, which I wrote, is most importantly, tip number 10 is network. It is about talking and meeting as many people as possible, and if you're not perhaps the most outgoing person, just try to, and if, you know, the thought of meeting people makes you uncomfortable, just try to get out of your comfort zone and do it anyway, because to be successful as an influencer, you need to know the right people who are going to be either giving you work or talking about you in magazines, or, you know, whatever it is. It is a very much people's game. And so make sure you get out there, go to the events, go to the parties, go to the things, and network with people, because that is going to be a big bonus for you. So that's it. That's the end of my session. Thanks so much for listening. I had so much fun virtually talking to you guys all the way from Amsterdam, and I hope to meet all of you one day. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of this event. Bye.